Let's talk about 5G, this virus, and Wi-Fi 4G. So people are either really hardcore believe it's really dangerous, or they have a strong belief it's all bullshit and it's all conspiracy theory, and those guys are crazy. Let me tell you why you should be more careful and watch out for EMF, electromagnetic frequencies radiation. Now, when I say EMF radiation, that means all Wi-Fi, all Bluetooth, radio signals like the old-fashioned radio, TV signals. We have cell phone signals, the cell phone towers, then the 4G for the cell phone towers for the internet, and the upcoming 5G. And that's pretty much encompasses a really broad spectrum of megahertz frequencies which are used to transmit some type of data. Now let me tell you my opinion from the research I have so far, and if you disagree with this video, I strongly challenge you to watch the whole video and then tell me your opinion in the comments, because this video is actually a reply to Lambada. I think that's how he says his name. He made a comment how everyone's crazy and no one's doing their research, and how 5G has no effects on cancer or on coronavirus and so on and so on. Now, I'm not gonna say, I don't want to say in this video that this is directly related to cancer and or the virus, but let me tell you about the bad effects and why I still think it's really dangerous. Now, first of all, in my reply to his comment, I said that to begin with, most research unfortunately cannot be trusted, and let me explain why. Most research is in some way, shape or form funded by giant agencies and or the government. It's very hard if you're a scientist to be self-funded, almost impossible. So most scientists need to have a boss and work for somebody. Having a boss means there's an agenda. So they're usually trying to fix some agenda with research. It's very rare that research is done out of a kind heart to help humanity. And if it's done, those scientists don't usually last very long, because they usually say something that's really controversial and end up being a target, or just don't have the funding to do those really expensive research and really long time and effort that it takes to do the research, because you have to pay your bills, right? That's how most scientists end up unfortunately working. So to begin with, most research is not really relevant, because if you look at cigarettes, for example, that's what I said in my comment, cigarettes is the perfect example, because cigarette smoke was considered safe and actually even healthy when cigarettes first came out. They had these huge tobacco farms, and it was for them really profitable to convince people to smoke. To convince people to smoke, they were making obviously many commercials, but there was even some early research stating how it's all great, fun and dandy, and there's no bad side effects, right? Yeah, I'm sure the same thing probably happened with cocaine when it first came out, and Coca-Cola, which, believe it or not, it's called Coca-Cola because it used to have cocaine. So back then, cocaine was used everywhere, tobacco was used everywhere. So, but once the effects of this long-term usage over 10, 20, 30 years started being extremely obvious and could no longer be ignored, even in research, even in public's eye, they had to start doing actual research and be like, okay, it's bad, don't smoke. But it's the same story over and over again. Something profitable comes out, they support it, but nobody really knows the long-term effects, because when cigarettes and tobacco became really popular in its early age, in infancy, in its popularity, it was people using it for only a few years. Just like vaping right now, there's only a few years of studies on vaping. We won't know the long-term effects on vaping until 20, 30 years passes. So it's impossible for anybody to do research and be like, okay, it has no effect on cancer, has no effect on your health, it's actually positive or it's neutral. You can't say that. It's not possible. Same thing happened with cigarettes and so on and so on. Same thing's probably gonna happen with refined sugar, but I'm not gonna touch that in this video. So what ends up happening is, right now, all your EMF radiation is a really new technology. I mean, how old is radio? I mean, radio is the weakest of all EMF radiation we have in this atmosphere right now. So radio has been around for a bit of time, but it's extremely weak and sends a really small amount of signals, right? Right now you have stronger and stronger signals because people want their YouTube live streams, people want their Netflix, people want to watch videos, watch porn, and so on, play games. All this stuff requires a lot of bandwidth, and people are pretty much dependent and addicted to bandwidth. So what ends up happening is you have stronger and stronger signals being sent to compensate for this demand. And basically monetize it. Telecom companies are some of the most profitable companies in the entire planet because they literally sell you fucking air. They sell you bandwidth. It has no price. It's free. Once you make the infrastructure, you literally print it for free. It's like government's printing money. Once you have the infrastructure, it's literally free to print. And bandwidth is one of the best money-making things at the moment. It's one of the most profitable things at the moment. Don't you think research and scientists are incentivized not to say it's bad since it's so profitable? Of course they're incentivized and paid not to say it's bad. And of course we cannot know what the effects of it are gonna be, because right now, how long does Wi-Fi exist? Like what, 5-10 years? How long does 4G exist? How long does Bluetooth exist? Like maybe like 15-10 years at the maximum. Like cell phones didn't exist, you know, when I was born. Like when I was 5 or 6, you know, around 2000 and I don't know, early 2000s. Like you had pretty much you had like infrared transfers, and you had no Bluetooth, and you had like basic cell phone signals. So it was just the beginning. In the early 2000s were just the beginning of just basic cell phone signal. Now we have not only cell phone but Bluetooth. We have Wi-Fi. We have all these pretty much microwave frequencies, right? Then you have 3G, 4G, LTE, and now we have 5G, which is the strongest of them all. It's so strong, it's literally put like every 100 yards, 100 meters away is each antenna transmitter. So that's like, you're literally, it's not bad enough that you have transmitters every kilometer or a mile. You have every like 100 yards, 100 meters. It's becoming more and more polluted. Our airways are literally being polluted. And people say like, I don't feel it. Well, let's think about it. Let's think about why you don't feel it. Because have you ever been in an area that has no signal, no Wi-Fi, no Bluetooth, no even radio, or at least not even cell phone signal? Have you been, what was the last time you spent a couple months in an area with no cell phone signal? If you guys really think everything I'm saying is bullshit, I'm a conspiracy theorist, I'm a crazy woo-woo hippie, and it's super like natural, I challenge you to first of all research the shaman renaissance or the natural frequencies of the body. And all natural frequencies of the body and of the earth are in the hertz spectrum. That's between 1 and like 60 or 100 beats per second maximum, right? You have these megahertz, which are in the thousands and thousands and thousands of beats per second. So even if it's not ionizing, and even if it's not research causing cancer, it's still non-harmonious to the frequencies of the body. What happens when you put something in disharmony? You will sooner or later ruin it, because the body functions on a really low range of hertz. And when you multiply that by thousands, of course you're gonna bring body into like a shock. Every single cell is literally being bombarded with signals which it cannot hide from. So you say you don't feel it, but I spoke to friends personally, and I've tried this personally myself, who spend time away from all signals, and oh my god, it's not the best sleep you will ever get. And as soon as you spend some time in a no signal area, like some crazy, you have to be really far away from civilization, unfortunately, because it's so hard to hide from these things. It's if you live in a building, there's at least 10, 20, 30 Wi-Fi signals around you. You're being bombarded from every single corner. Like every household has a couple cell phones, tablets, computers, and so on, laptops, and so multiply that like one Wi-Fi signal times 5 or 10 applications and receivers sending back and forth times like 10 apartments around you, you're literally being choked to death with signals, right? Unfortunately, you can't feel it or know it right now. Until you pass the point of no return, you won't actually realize you've been irradiated in some way, shape, or form. It's like radiation poisoning. Until once you feel the side effects, you're basically dead. You have like a month to live. Now that's an extreme example, but if you guys watched the TV series Chernobyl, it's pretty gory. It's pretty fucked up. You don't want to watch that TV series unless I mean, it's a good TV series, but it's difficult to watch because it goes into depth of radiation poisoning. This is not ionizing radiation, but it's still radiation. Or it's some type of electromagnetic frequency that's not natural to our body, right? Now, going back to being in no signals. When you're no signals for a couple days, weeks, months, and as soon as you enter back an area that has Wi-Fi or cell phone signal, I promise you, you will feel it. One extreme case is one my friend spending 3 months or 2 months in an area where he had no signals, right? He turns on a Wi-Fi router to try to convert the dial-up into a Wi-Fi signal to check his phone, and as soon as he plugs in the Wi-Fi router, he literally gets this migraine headache, like boom, something's burning his head. Because he got so desensitized, and so his body forgot what it's like to be in that pollution. As soon as you breathe in, as soon as that pollution hits you, you're like, wow, it's a tsunami. But we're so used to these strong polluted EMF winds that you're just used to it. The body's a perfect machine. It adapts to anything. So unfortunately, our body adapts not to feel it because it has no other choice. Like if something keeps stinging you in the same place over and over again, your body realizes, okay, fuck it, you know, I'm gonna start using that receptor. It's like that receptor, something's wrong, you know, it's a clothes. Like right now, you're probably wearing clothes. Do you feel the clothes on your body? No, you don't. But when you take the clothes off, that's when you can feel the clothes that were on. But this is just way more extreme because it's a lot more burden, a lot more weight from every single corner. And the worst part is, it's not something you touch, smell, or taste. You can't physically touch it. That's why it's so dangerous. You literally have to have a cell phone or a meter to check if you're inside this radiation. It's really scary because you could be dangerously irradiated without even knowing. You have to actually live in a non-irradiated area, have good strong sensations and good focus of your inner and outer body, literally practice meditation or some way of focusing your mind to be able to feel the sensations that are really small. And there is, you know, in psychology, it says that you can't feel radiation, you can't feel Wi-Fi, it's not possible. Well, guess what? They're wrong. I know many examples of people who have a good focus. Anybody can train this. I felt this myself on my own body. It just takes a little bit more focus than your average person who doesn't want to focus on anything. And if you spend a little bit of time on non-irradiated place and in an irradiated place, you will feel the difference. I guarantee you. You will feel some sensation that's not natural. It's your body warning you. It's like something's wrong. I'm not sure what it is. It's hard to feel, but it's wrong. And the more you spend time outside, the stronger it'll feel to come back, because you have that contrast. Unless you have a hot cold, you don't feel it's hot. Without cold, you don't know it's hot. Without hot, you don't know it's cold. You have to have a contrast. And we living in modern 21st century don't feel anything because we're just always in this polluted airways. You never step out of it. So I can't guarantee or promise or prove that 5G causes cancer or that cell phone signal causes cancer, nor can I prove that refined sugar causes cancer or cigarettes. But cigarettes is becoming obvious because many years has passed, 30, 40, 50 years, I don't know how much exact, right? Since they were popularized. But unfortunately, we will find out when it's too late for some people who will have irreversible damage. So I urge you to think about this more seriously, and I urge you to watch my video on how to block, or not block, but make the radiation from your phone a lot smaller and be more conscious of it and cause less long-term damage to yourself by preventing the damage, not by fixing it later. Because fixing something and preventing it is very, very, very different. Fixing a mistake is hard, preventing it is easy. So why don't you put a little bit of effort? Just watch the video. It's 5 minutes of work. 5 minutes of work to watch the video and 5 minutes to do it yourself. You just need aluminum foil. Aluminum foil is a really good reflector of a lot of frequencies, especially the ones from your cell phone. You put a couple layers, it's an overkill. You will literally block the signals. I actually have to correct that video. So I'm gonna urge you guys to watch the first video in how to do it yourself, block radiation. And very, very shortly, and probably as soon as you watch this, my second video will be out where I'm gonna add some more things which I learned along the way since I made that first video, how to make it even better. Because that actually, the way I did it in the first video is not as perfect as possible and does drain your battery a bit more than it should. And it's not as good. It's really bad if you put it next to your head. But I'm gonna watch my second video as well after you watch the first video, where I'll correct some small mistakes, because I'm learning with you guys. We're all learning together. It's something that's really brand new. So let's learn together, and definitely please do leave me your comments. And thank you for that comment. I forgot the guy's name who told me about my mistakes in the first video. Thank you so much, and thank you for watching.